Never stop reading Bible. And today on the deep dive, we're really getting into a foundational chunk of it, the book of Isaiah, specifically chapters 5 through 8.
Yeah, let's start with chapter 5. It's often called the Song of the Vineyard. It's really evocative. Try to picture God as this incredibly loving farmer, right? And Israel is his vineyard. He puts in so much work clearing stones, planting the very best vines, building a watchtower. I mean, he does absolutely everything needed for a great harvest.
Okay, so he sets it all up perfectly.
Mm.
After all that care, all that investment, what kind of fruit does the vineyard actually produce? What was he expecting versus what he got?
Well, that's the tragic part. Total disappointment. Instead of the good, choice grapes he planned for, it produced wild grapes. Sour grapes, basically. And Isaiah connects this directly to Israel's actions. It's not just general badness, it's specific things like grabbing up land so there's no room for the poor, or throwing these lavish parties, completely ignoring what God is doing or what he cares about.
Right, so it's a total disconnect from God's priorities.
Exactly. And it gets worse. Isaiah says they were actually calling evil good and good evil, thinking they were so wise in their own eyes, taking bribes, denying justice to people who deserved it. It's a really powerful picture of corruption.
Wow. So if the fruit is that bad, what happens to the vineyard itself? What's the consequence?
It's pretty stark. God says he'll remove the hedge, its protection. It'll be trampled down, overgrown, no more rain, just desolation. And he makes it clear he'll use foreign nations as the tool for this judgment, like raising a banner, signaling them, and they'll come swiftly, powerfully to punish.
Okay, that's a heavy national picture. But then the focus shifts quite dramatically, doesn't it, to Isaiah himself. How does someone even become a prophet tasked with delivering messages like that?
Yeah, chapter 6 is intensely personal. It's Isaiah's calling. He has this absolutely staggering vision of God in the temple high, lifted up, glorious. And his immediate reaction isn't pride, it's total awareness of his own inadequacy. He cries out, "Woe is me, for I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips." He feels completely unworthy to be in God's presence.
That feeling of unworthiness, that's powerful. How does he move from that point to actually accepting the call?
Well, there's this amazing moment. A seraph, one of the angelic beings there, takes a burning coal from the altar and touches Isaiah's lips with it. It's a symbol of cleansing, of purification. Then God asks the question, "Whom shall I send and who will go for us?" And Isaiah, now cleansed, immediately volunteers, "Here I am, send me." No hesitation.
Incredible. From woe is me to send me.
Exactly. And his mission? It's tough. He's told to preach a message that will actually harden people's hearts, in a way preparing them for the judgment and desolation that's coming. But importantly, there's always this promise of a remnant, a small group that will survive and carry hope forward.
So Isaiah's called. He's got his difficult mission. How does this play out in the real-world politics of the time? Chapter 7 seems to drop us right into a crisis.
It really does. We're suddenly in the middle of a specific political emergency. King Pekah of Israel, the northern kingdom, and King Rezin of Aram, or Syria, they team up. They march towards Jerusalem to attack Judah. And King Ahaz of Judah and all his people are understandably terrified. Their hearts are shaking, the text says, like trees in the wind.
Okay, so genuine fear. Panic, even.
Yeah.
How does God step into this moment? Does he just let Ahaz sweat it out?
No. He intervenes directly. God sends Isaiah out to meet King Ahaz. And the message is one of reassurance, actually. Isaiah tells Ahaz, "Don't be afraid. This alliance against you, it's not going to succeed. These two kings are just like smoldering stumps of firebrands. They look scary, but their fire's almost out. God promises that Ephraim, meaning Israel, won't stand and will eventually be broken."
So a direct promise of deliverance. But then God does something even more remarkable, right?
Yes. He tells Ahaz, through Isaiah, "Ask for a sign, any sign you want, high as heaven or deep as Sheol. Just ask to confirm my promise." But Ahaz refuses. He says something pious sounding like, "I will not ask and I will not put the Lord to the test." But it really comes across as unbelief, maybe political calculation, not trusting God's offer.
It's baffling, isn't it? God literally says, "Ask me for proof," and he says no.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens then? Does God just shrug?
No, he doesn't. Even though Ahaz refuses, God gives a sign anyway, and it's a hugely significant one. Isaiah says, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." Emmanuel, meaning God with us.
God with us, that's huge, especially in that moment of fear.
Absolutely. It's a sign that points beyond the immediate crisis. Yes, judgment from Assyria is still coming because of Judah's overall unfaithfulness, as the later verses detail. Assyria will be like a flood. But the core message embedded in Emmanuel is that God hasn't abandoned his people. Judah won't be utterly wiped out by this current threat. God's presence guarantees ultimate salvation, even through judgment.
Okay, that sets up a real tension, this looming judgment, but also this promise of God's presence. How does chapter 8 develop that?
Chapter 8 really doubles down on that duality. It confirms the coming Assyrian invasion. It's going to be like a powerful river overflowing its banks and flooding Judah right up to the neck. So judgment is real and imminent.
Wow.
And then there's another sign, a third one involving Isaiah's own family.
Another sign.
Yes. Isaiah is told to have a son and give him a very specific long name, Maher-shalal-hash-baz. It means quick to the plunder, swift to the spoil. And the birth of the son is a direct sign that before the child is old enough to say daddy or mommy, the wealth of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria, the capitals of Aram and Israel, will be carried off by the king of Assyria. It signals how fast this judgment is coming upon Judah's enemies.
Wow. So the danger is real, it's coming fast.
Yeah.
But amidst all that, is there still that call to trust you mentioned?
Definitely. That's the crucial counterpoint. Isaiah warns the people strongly. Don't put your trust in military might. Don't get caught up in the fear-mongering or political conspiracies around you. Don't rely on Assyria for safety. Instead, fear the Lord Almighty. Let him be your fear. Let him be your dread. He will be your sanctuary. The message is crystal clear. Foreign powers might rage, alliances might form, but they ultimately cannot thwart God's long-term plan for his people. Verses 9 to 10. Trust in God alone.
So even with judgment looming, the ultimate foundation is trust in God's unchanging word and presence.
Exactly. God tells Isaiah to bind up the testimony, seal the teaching among his disciples, hold fast to God's word, even when everything seems dark and confusing, even when people are turning to mediums and spiritists instead of God. It reinforces that God's promises and his warnings are steadfast. They won't change.
And all the rich insights we've explored today come to us from the Center Studio.